Part 17. My Love Simulation with Them. Author, Chiudeo Udaziiwe. Chapter 162. But after being silent, she couldn't help but look at Nangxiang and spoke, "Are you sure you want to use this script? What's wrong? Is it bad writing?" "No. That." Akane Shinjo opened her mouth. "Although I hate to admit it." But she finally nodded, "It's well written." "Yes. This is Akane Shinjo's true words. Really well written. To say it is outstanding is an understatement. Today's tokusatsu dramas, because they are bundled with toy peripherals, have poor plots, and the feeling of slaughtering pigs and killing customers is revealed everywhere. We are going to sell this toy next, with LED lights, come and buy it. But the script written by Nango made Akane Shinjo feel like a pure tokusatsu drama in the Showa era. At that time, tokusatsu dramas had not yet been tied to major capital parties. All authors who write tokusatsu scripts are trying to tell a good story and convey a certain truth. Shinjo Akane likes the tokusatsu dramas from that period the most. Not to mention that the script written by Nangxiang was actually a script with her favorite monster as the protagonist. This made her feel even more happy and satisfied. If the full score is 100 points. So this script is in her hands, and it is simply one of the 100 million scripts that she wants to shoot and read now. But is this script really going to be popular? Akane Shinjo looked at the tokusatsu script in her hand repeatedly and subconsciously asked Nango. Yes. Nangxiang wrote brilliantly. Whether it's the Japanese government, the characterization of the hero, or Thanos' desire to protect the ocean. They are all in his hands, written in words that are indescribable and extremely charming. But although this script is excellent, it contains too many allusions to reality, including the discharge of nuclear wastewater. If we really performed at the cultural festival, even Akane Shinjo doesn't know what kind of response will follow. It was very good, so good that she wanted to watch it now, but it would probably not be likable. This is all Akane Shinjo's views on this script. But as long as you like it, isn't it enough? Why? Akane Shinjo was stunned. I mean, you like it, isn't that enough? Nangxiang calmly asked back, the script I wrote is for you to see, it is what you want to see, and you are satisfied with it? This is enough for me. So. Nangxiang's voice paused and continued, why do I still care about other people's opinions? Yes. To be liked or not to be liked. What does this have to do with him? From the beginning, he wrote the script for Akane Shinjo. As long as Akane Shinjo likes her, that's enough for him. When Nangxiang said this, there was still some tomato juice on his mouth, and he was looking for a tissue to wipe his mouth. But he was still looking for tissues. A pale pink handkerchief was handed over. Nangxiang raised his head subconsciously. Then he saw Shinjo Akane, who was handing over the handkerchief, with a slightly red face. Use it? She turned her head to the other side, there is something on your mouth, but you still said such embarrassing words. You are really a person. The side of her face turned red. Although the tone sounds angry, if you look closely, you will find the softness hidden in it. Nangxiang didn't talk nonsense, took Akane Shinjo's handkerchief and wiped his mouth clean. Watch his action. Shinjo Akane once again supported her face with her hands, and the corners of her mouth curved in a way that she couldn't even detect. Oops. This person is really. Chapter 139. Narcissism LV4, 4100 words. After handing the script to Shinjo Akane, Nango Toki didn't say anything about leaving it alone. It's just a short lunch break. In addition, Akane Shinjo also has her friends watching next to her. So Nangxiang just said a few words and returned to his classroom. Okay, we've almost finished handling the script. Nangxiang glanced at the time. It's still early for lunch break to end. Then Nang Xiangxi subconsciously took a look at the increase in heart rate. At any rate, the script I wrote this time can be considered a job for Miss Shinjo. The heart rate should go up, right? He thought so and glanced at it. Then. Nang Xiangxi was stunned for a while looking at the increase in heart rate. Then he sighed. Miss Shinjo, you are really. Ms. Shinjo is really a model of integrity both verbally and physically. Although it is completely different from the attribute of tsundere. But just looking at the heart rate in front of him that increased by triple jumps, Nang Xiang had no choice but to let out a sigh. Yesterday, during the simulation of Ms. Shinjo, Nang Xiang remembered clearly that the heartbeat value should be 600 points. That is, 2 simulation opportunities are guaranteed. And today, Nang Xiangxi took a look at his points. Current heart rate remaining, 1290. It seems that he did not make a wrong choice. Just like in the simulation, Ms. Shinjo particularly likes Takyozatsu scripts with monsters as the protagonists. Coupled with my almost perfect writing skills. Nang Xiangxi recalled the comments he saw when he finished writing the script at noon today. 4.5 points, an extremely excellent special photography script that reflects on human beings and the environment. 4.5 points. The score is even higher than the previous Her Hidden in the Sea of Azaleas. However, considering the difficulty of writing literary works, it is more difficult than scripts. So it doesn't make much sense to compare this. But this score can actually reflect that Nang Xiang performed extremely well this time. It's no wonder that Ms. Shinjo has contributed so much heartbeat value. But after contributing so many heartbeat points, Ms. Shinjo won't really fall in love with me afterwards, right? Nang Xiangxi was a little worried. Although he only came into contact with her to eliminate her heart problems. How could he let such a troublesome character like Miss Shinjo fall in love with him? Nan Xiang held up his face. He remembered what Miss Shinjo said to him before, who will fall in love with you? We can only hope that Ms. Shinjo keeps her word. But it's no use thinking about this. Nang Xiangxi quickly put aside the complicated emotions, turned on his mobile phone, selected the camera, turned the lens over, looked at himself on the screen, and spoke with a serious expression, "Excellent people, such as you, attract for others, it's natural." Good. That's it? He is so good, it is normal for some people to like him. After all, I like this kind of thing. Unstoppable. Nang Xiangxi put down his phone contentedly. Then. Your specialty narcissism has been greatly improved. Your specialty narcissism has been upgraded. Your current level is LV4. Ah. Nang Xiang, who had just put down his phone, was stunned when he heard this message. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiu Dao Yu de Zi Wei. Chapter 163. Somewhat mysteriously, he opened his attribute list. Love Simulator. Bind user, Nang Xiangxi. Appearance, 9, Sports, 7, Academic ability, 8, Specialties, Learning LV4, Narcissism LV4, Cooking, Happiness, LV4, Writing, Romance, LV4, Music LV3, Lies LV3, Medical Skills LV2, Self-Discipline LV1, Sensitivity LV1, Mobility LV1. Simulator evaluation, a handsome young man who has already emerged in various talents, and in terms of narcissism, no one can match him. However, extreme narcissism is a manifestation of self-confidence. It is difficult for you to believe in anything. Without you, you are a rare hot commodity among women of all ages, including some men with extraordinary sexual interests. Looking at his data panel, Nan Xiangxi fell silent. He has a total of 4 LV4 specialties, and narcissism is one of them. And in the systematic elaboration, the LV4 level is the top level in a certain industry. In a sense, it is unbeatable except for a few people. In other words, even in human history, is my level of narcissism considered to be relatively famous. Looking at the specialty of narcissistic LV4, Nang Xiangxi really couldn't accept it. He now feels that the simulator must have confused narcissism with confidence. How can he be said to be narcissistic? It's obviously something that can't be fought together. And isn't Ryo Yamada more narcissistic than him? Why is she narcissistic at LV3? Am I LV4? It's really unfair, right? The good mood of getting a huge amount of heartbeat points just now was ruined by the rat shit of the simulator. But that's what I said. Nang Xiangxi felt that he had to be more careful in the future, lest his specialty of narcissism really become LV5 in the future. That is truly unrivaled among human beings. Thinking of this, Nang Xiangxi shook his head and sighed, "Hey, such an outstanding person like me is really something that even the simulator can't understand. Your specialty narcissism has been slightly improved, current level is LV4. Looking at the system prompt that suddenly popped up, Nang Xiangxi's mouth twitched. Then he didn't bother to care anymore and focused directly on the simulation. Start simulation? Yes. Current simulation object, Shinjo Akane, status, slightly admired, slightly awed, and somewhat concerned. It seems that Miss Shinjo's opinion of him has changed significantly. Looking at the string of descriptions symbolizing favorability, Nang Xiangxi nodded slightly, and then sank into the simulation. Current heart rate remaining, 990. Simulation begins. After spending a night with Akane Shinjo, you can clearly feel that this girl who is good at disguising herself is no longer as calm as before in front of you. She cares about your attitude and the way you look at her. You will also be aware of it. You are not surprised by this, because you think that you are the best boy in the world. It is natural that she will fall in love with you, and it is also a law of nature. But even so, you still did not pry through her defenses in some way. You learned that she particularly likes takyozatsu dramas and wants to perform at the Oka festival. To this end, you used your excellent writing talent to carefully construct a script that only belongs to her. She was moved by your delicate and poignant story. I approve your script from the bottom of my heart. For this reason, you decide. The next option has far-reaching implications. 1. My journey to special photography begins now. As long as I take over everything, the Oka Festival will definitely be a show for her and me. 2. The Oka Festival is not just a cultural festival for me. Not only do I need to be excited, but I also need her to participate. 3. During the Oka Festival performance, he romantically performed to Shinjo Akane, "My dear, please come," and took advantage of the heated atmosphere of the Oka Festival that day to express his love to her. 4. Simulate in person. I am narcissistic, not shameless. Looking at the several options in the simulation, the corners of Nang Xiang's mouth twitched. He really had nothing to say. Because he found that every once in a while, the simulator would do some extraordinarily outrageous things for him. At least Nang Xiang asked himself that he was not at the point where he thought he was the best boy in the world. At most, it's like the best male young man in the world has the same name as he did in Nang Xiang. But, forget it. Instead of thinking about all these miscellaneous things, think about the options. After all, this option has been described as having far-reaching impact in the system's description. Nang Xiangxi raised his eyebrows and looked at the 3 options. First of all, the first thing that can be eliminated is the 3rd option. Taking advantage of the heated atmosphere of the Oka festival, he confessed his love to Akane Shinjo. This option may indeed greatly enhance the relationship between Shinjo Akane and him, and Nang Xiang is also certain that Shinjo Akane will agree. But the emotional improvement was too rapid, and Nang Xiangxi could not help but think about the ending in the 1st or 2nd episode. He dated Akane Shinjo before she opened her heart. To put it bluntly, she still didn't cure her heart disease. Rather than letting this woman fall in love with myself first. It's better to find a way to solve her extremely fragile heart problem of not being able to find her own self-worth. 3 options are excluded. Then only options 1 and 2 are left. This is actually not a difficult choice. Nang Xiangxi just took one look at it and directly chose the second one. The expression of the first option is actually very clear. It is nothing more than that he will take over everything and then use his outstanding abilities to solve Akane Shinjo's problems. This can indeed improve Akane Shinjo's favorability. But don't forget, he did the same thing in the second week. He handled everything properly for Shinjo Akane, but the result was that Shinjo Akane couldn't find her own existence value and self-confidence, which ultimately led to a regretful ending. The second option fits this perfectly. He worked closely with Akane Shinjo to make the entire show better. In this process, Shinjo Akane can also show her own value. Because to put it bluntly, Akane Shinjo had much more expectations than he did for performing in the Oka Festival Gymnasium. That's enough. Nan Xiang murmured to himself. At the same time, continue to pay attention to the next development of simulation. One person's one-man show may be very gorgeous, but the collaborative approach of multiple people is also very good. You took over all the script matters, and also gave her the arrangements for the actors, monster holsters, scene props, etc. On the surface, Akane Shinjo complained that you had left all the troublesome preparation work to her, but in her heart she was secretly looking forward to it. Because she has the dream of being a takyozatsu drama director, she has always been looking forward to having her show performed at the Oka Festival. This is not just an opportunity for her, but a recognition of the existence of her own dream. Is that really the case? Looking at the description of the simulation, Nang Xiang nodded. Just as he thought. The Oka Festival takyozatsu stage performance was Akane Shinjo's first attempt at a takyozatsu drama. She cannot and will not fail. If you choose one option and Nang Xiangxi takes care of everything, then there is a high probability that it will end in regret. But now, this wrong ending should have been avoided by him. Nang Xiangxi continued to look down. The leather case of the then ASIS monster and the layout of the scene props are actually not a problem for Akane Shinjo, who comes from a wealthy family. She has collected a lot of monster holsters at home with a few modifications. She can make a perfect then ASIS monster holster. Similarly, she also has a lot of exquisite models of buildings, mountains, rivers, and seas that often appear in takyozatsu dramas at home. Even if they are not enough, she can still make many with her own excellent handicrafts. But what worries her the most is the casting of monster actors. She has many friends, but those who are willing to communicate with her intimately can be said to be very few. Even if those superficial friends are called in to help, it will definitely have no effect on the stage performance. She feels troubled and anxious about this. She has never made friends sincerely at this moment. It seems that there is no one she can rely on except you. Her dependence on you has deepened. The next option has far-reaching implications. In the face of her invisible dependence, what do you think? 1. As the social butterfly of Oka High School, you have a lot of friends. Kazuri Goto and Ryo Yamada are very gentle people. As long as you ask them, the problem will be solved. 2. Akane Shinjo is actually thinking too much. She has many friends. As long as she lowers her head and asks for help, the problem should be solved. 3. If you think about it carefully, Shinjo Akane should still have a few close friends, right? 4. Simulate in person. The option pops up again. And it's a far-reaching option. Just looking at it gave Nang Xiang a headache. For other simulated objects, either the far-reaching option does not appear at all, or it only appears once. But Akane Shinjo is really different. The simulation had just begun, and he was given 2 far-reaching options. And they are all death options. Nang Xiangxi looked at the reorganized options and muttered to himself. Yes. It's basically a death option. This is what gives Nang Xiangxi the biggest headache. The first option this time is exactly the same as the last option. If he handles it alone, Shinjo Akane will fall into autism again. The first option obviously doesn't work. Then the first option doesn't work, and the second option certainly doesn't feel right either. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiudeo Udaziiwe. Chapter 164. Shinjo Akane's friends are simply attracted to each other's perfect personality and appearance. Takyozatsu dramas, Nang Xiangxi estimated that even if they were asked to perform, they would definitely just make do with it in the end. Then there is only one last option left. 3. Nang Xiangxi set his sights on the third option. 3. If you think about it carefully, Shinjo Akane should still have a few close friends, right? To be honest, this option is too ambiguous. The word should is also very concerning. But there is indeed value in choosing. Nan Xiang murmured to himself. Because he thought of someone. There are many treasures and 6 flowers. That person. Should he be regarded as Akane Shinjo's true friend? Chapter 140. How to eat soft rice. 4,000 words. No matter what. When the first and second options are already wrong. There is absolutely nothing wrong with choosing the third option. In Nangxiang, I directly chose 3. During the simulation, words and memories came again. For you, the Oka festival is just a dispensable celebration. You actually don't care that much about the Oka festival. But you know that in Shinjo Akane's eyes, the Oka festival is not only an annual high school celebration, but more of a stage where her dreams and ideas are tried out for the first time. Depending on the success of the Takyozatsu stage play, it is likely to determine her future direction. You did not treat this matter carelessly, nor did you call Ichiri Goto, Ryo Yamada and others to help, because you knew that how to deal with the matter of stage actors was also a test of Akane Shinjo's ability. However, although you did not directly help Shinjo Akane, you also indirectly gave her hints. Tell her, she has so many friends, and among them she must have a few close friends. After hearing your words, she couldn't help but fall into deep thought. She has never treated others sincerely. Does she really have a few close friends? Under your prompting, Shinjo Akane thought about it for a long time, and finally, in front of you, she contacted someone hesitantly. Nangxiang, do you think she will really come here? Sitting in the empty mobile classroom, Akane Shinjo couldn't help but ask questions when she turned her head to look at Nango. She was thinking, she was always very strong towards outsiders, but when it came to her true friends, she seemed extremely weak and unconfident. I don't know, Nangxiang, she replied simply. Shinjo Akane. Akane Shinjo couldn't help but glare at Nango. Is there really such a man? Generally speaking, at this time, shouldn't Nangxiang, a male, give her, a female, more comfort? If I ask you, would you just say I don't know? And after all, it was you who asked me to contact my friends, right? There's no point in complaining about me in your heart. While Nangxiang was flipping through a book, he suddenly raised his head and said something. Shinjo Akane. Superpowers? You guy. Akane Shinjo couldn't help but mutter. But then, I heard Nan Xiangxi say again. Actually, I think you should have more confidence in yourself. From an ordinary human perspective, you should still have 1 or 2 true friends. Can I understand that? You are mocking me for not having true friends, so I am not an ordinary human being, right? I didn't say that, but if you think so, there's nothing I can do about it. Hateful. When looking at Nangxiang, who lowered his head again and continued to flip through the book, Shinjo Akane clenched her molars. This guy is as annoying as ever. Akane Shinjo took a deep breath. But she actually understands. Playing with one's own temper when rushing to Nang Xiang has no effect. More probably, she wanted to get Nang Xiangxi's approval of her from his mouth. Although I hate this man, the words he speaks always make people feel at ease. While Shinjo Akane was still thinking, the sliding door of the mobile classroom was opened. At the same time, a lazy female high school student's voice came from outside the door. I'm sorry, is Shinjo-san here? A head of clean black hair. Deep blue eyes. The black-haired girl holding orange headphones and a mobile phone stood outside the door and asked inside. But just seeing the other person's face, Akane Shinjo subconsciously showed a surprised look. At the same time, she turned her head excitedly. Nang Xiang. A short title. But at the same time, she showed her inner excitement and joy. It turns out that I really have some friends who are willing to lend a hand to help me when I am in trouble. Regarding Akane Shinjo's gaze, Nan Xiangxi did not respond directly, but just nodded to her. And it's just this simple nod. But it gave Akane Shinjo a feeling of being recognized in her heart. She turned around with bright eyes and excitedly greeted Rika Takarada, who was standing at the door hesitantly, to come in. This day, she looked at Nang Xiangxi and Takarada Rika, and felt that she might understand what friends were. She has never had any hope for her interpersonal relationships, and she has never thought that anyone would help her realize her little dream of a special stage play during the already busy Oka festival. But Rika Takarada's active appearance touched the softest place in her heart. She has never thought that a guy like herself who doesn't treat other people sincerely can actually have friends like Rika Takarada. No, maybe Rika Takarada has regarded her as a true friend from a long time ago. It's just that she has always sealed her heart and has never noticed this. Your proactive reminder made her realize that she was not alone. She is especially grateful to you in her heart. Although she still maintains an attitude of disgust towards you on the surface, she will subconsciously look in your direction every time she makes a decision or expresses her thoughts. Looking at your calm face, her eyes will always soften. But it's not enough just to have one more Takarada Rika in the cast of the special stage play. Both the human side and then ASIS as a monster need to be played by people. To this end, Rika Takarada took the initiative to invite several of her friends over. You met Rika Takarada, Yuta Hibiki, and Sho Utsumi. You did not express any objection to Bayata Rika inviting people to rehearse the stage play. In your opinion, this is also a manifestation of Akane Shinjo's interpersonal relationships. Being able to have more friends is undoubtedly a good thing for her. Watch her excitedly making props, scenery, and monster leather cases when you are free. You will also take the initiative to help. But because you don't know anything about handicrafts, you will often be pointed at and laughed at by her with a smile. But every time after laughing at her, she will teach you about handicrafts very seriously. Looking at the first batch of finished props you and she made together, her mouth was filled with disgust. But that night, her SNS, social software, had a lot of photos of the props you and she made. Your understanding of handmade production has been greatly improved. Your relationship with Akane Shinjo has deepened. Sometimes, even if the rehearsal of the stage play ends early, she, who always goes home early, will deliberately stay and wait for you to revise the script more perfectly before going back with you. This short time after school is a rare free and happy time for her and you. In the simulation, memories are constantly rolling. It's so slow. Nang Xiang. Standing at the school gate with short pink and purple hair, she complained as usual to Nang Xiang, who had just walked out of the school gate. I can't help it, I'm revising the script. Hey, I said it's already perfect, why do you need to modify it? Akane Shinjo glanced at Nangoshi with a murmur. In her opinion, Nang Xiangxi's script was actually perfect. Even if we continue to revise it, we can no longer revise it to produce a better plot. After all, the general framework of the story has been decided. but Nang Xiangxi still takes half an hour every day to review the script. That's why I really don't understand the thoughts of a perfectionist like you. She complained, but before she finished speaking, she was interrupted by Nang Xiangxi. The stage performance was my initiative, so it is necessary for me to present it in front of everyone in a more perfect state. While walking on the road, Nango looked at Akane Shinjo, and Shinjo, aren't you also looking forward to the final effect of the stage play? Then you can't be careless about the script. Hey, in other words, Nang Xiang, you are so serious about revising the script repeatedly because you want to get my approval? Oh, Nang Xiang, does Nang Xiang care so much about my thoughts? After hearing this, Shinjo Akane showed her trademark mischievous smile. This was the first time she caught a flaw in Nang Xiangxi's language. You must know that Nang Xiangxi was always mocking and teasing her. It was hard to seize the opportunity now, and of course she couldn't let go of the opportunity to tease her. Akane Shinjo said as she looked at Nango. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiudeo Udazi Iway. Chapter 165. I hope to find a hint of embarrassment on the other person's handsome face. But. Yes. Under her gaze, Nan Xiangxi nodded calmly and answered. And just this sentence. Akane Shinjo's face, which was still filled with a narrow and evil smile just now, froze. Then she opened her mouth wide, and her fair face turned red in the next second. Nang Xiangxi admitted decisively without hesitation. It instantly disrupted the calm inner mind that she had just had the psychological advantage over. She looked a little embarrassed and turned her head to the side, and asked again tentatively, Huh? Huh? Yes, really. In other words, Nang Xiang, you actually care about what other people think. This time, there was no narrow teasing like the last time, only the girl looked at him with a vague concern. The look was like that of an easily frightened hamster. As soon as he feels his eyes meet Nan Xiangxi's, he will immediately retreat in fear. When faced with her question, Nan Xiangxi's answer was still simple. If it wasn't because of what you said, why do you think I spend half an hour every day revising the script? Do I have nothing to do when I'm free? A very simple answer with a rhetorical question. But just like water poured into boiling oil, Akane Shinjo felt as if something had hit her heart. An emotion called joy suddenly surged from within. This emotion came too suddenly and too violently. Akane Shinjo felt inexplicably worried about it, but also excited about it. Just like some people who want to run laps around the playground when they are extremely happy. Shinjo Akane actually feels this way now. But. No. It's not right. What does it feel like? Is it possible that I have feelings for Nang Xiang? No. Impossible. That guy is from Nang Xiang. Hey Nang Xiangxi who doesn't understand women's hearts at all and has been bullying me. Am I completely out of my mind for having such thoughts about a guy with a bad personality like that? I already said that some unlucky guy would like someone like Nang Xiangxi. She repeatedly denied her emotions in her mind. At the same time, in order to prevent Nang Xiangxi from noticing his strangeness, she hurriedly said, Yes, yes, Nang Xiang, do you have anything to eat? I'll treat you. Then, as if she was afraid that Nang Xiang might misunderstand something, she muttered and opened her mouth in panic. Anyway, you have to cook and eat by yourself when you go back, right? Why don't you just eat outside with me? Ken. Regarding her proposal, Nan Xiangxi did not express any objection, he just nodded and stopped talking. The two fell into a brief silence. Akane Shinjo subconsciously looked at Nang Xiang's face. I always find Nang Xiangxi's facial features a third impression besides being disgusting and good-looking. It looks like a solidified oil painting under the setting sun. He simply walked forward, giving her the indescribable feeling of beauty of a noble gentleman wandering around in the world. Has this guy ever been this good-looking before? Shinjo Akane subconsciously widened Akane's red eyes. The boy's eyes, the boy's lips, the boy's slightly trembling eyelashes. At this time, it was like a filter was added to her eyes. There is an indescribable charm. Broken. Akane Shinjo quickly retracted her reluctant gaze and stretched out her palm to cover her violently beating heart. They found a random store and sat down. It's obviously Nangxiang time. Even though we were eating out, she was always footing the bill and eating her free Nangxiang hour. But this is the time in Nangxiang. I really want her to tell the other person's shortcomings. Shinjo Akane couldn't even say a word at this time. She fell silent, feeling that she was probably really finished this time. She seems to have really fallen in love with a man who will bully her for the rest of her life, and she is willing to be bullied by him for the rest of her life. But the girl tilted her head again. When he looked at Nangxiang, who was tasting the food in the restaurant one bite at a time, Miss Shinjo silently took out her wallet and thought, maybe that would be good too. Your relationship with Akane Shinjo has taken a further step. Simulate text pop-up. In reality, Nanxiangshi couldn't help but remain silent. He couldn't help but turn on his phone. He glanced at the invitation sent to him by Akane Shinjo online. The other party invited her to have dinner after school, and she paid for it. To be honest, if we usually have such advantages, we must have directly taken advantage of them in Nangxiang. After all, it saved him a lot of effort in cooking. But when I think about it, Miss Shinjo in the simulation was bullied by me into falling in love with me. When I was in Nangxiang, I had some toothache again. If it develops as in the simulation, will Miss Shinjo really like him like this? This free meal. To eat or not to eat? I had to consider this issue when I was in Nangxiang. Chapter 141. You are her irreplaceable treasure, 4,000 words. In the end, Nangxiang chose to have this meal. In his opinion, it was just a meal, and there was no way he could raise his favorability level to the point where Miss Shinjo fell in love with him. And cooking at home is really troublesome. Miss Shinjo ran out of ingredients yesterday. If I want to go back to cook today, I have to buy ingredients first. Based on the above points, Nangxiangshi made a decision. But to put it bluntly, eating is just a trivial matter. Nangxiangshi turned his attention back to simulation. After that day, as if she suddenly understood something, Akane Shinjo seemed to have no more secretive thoughts. She will take the initiative to invite you out for dinner from time to time, and will also take you to the clothing store she often visits. Even Rika Takarada's friends Hibiki Yuta and Utsumi Sho can see that she has a close relationship with you. The relationship between them is much closer than that of ordinary friends. As for your relationship with Akane Shinjo, Rika Takarada has always seen it in her eyes. She was both happy and uneasy about the change in her best friend. I'm happy because she and Akane Shinjo were neighbors when she was a child. She and Akane Shinjo often interacted with each other when they were young, and they often watched tokusatsu dramas with Akane Shinjo at Shinjo's house, so everyone knows that Shinjo Akane has closed her heart, and now, the ice in Shinjo Akane's heart seems to be gradually melting under your influence. This is undoubtedly a sign that everything is slowly getting better. What makes her uneasy is that she often hears Akane Shinjo say where she took you today and what she ate, and all of this seems to be paid for by Akane Shinjo's initiative. From the perspective of a relationship between boyfriend and girlfriend, the relationship between you and Akane Shinjo is obviously not as healthy as imagined. Rika Takarada is worried that her friend will be deceived by you and will give you all her money to play small steel balls, but she wants Akane Shinjo to melt the ice in her heart, but she cannot do without your help. This puts her in a dilemma. Although you don't care about Bayada Rika's thoughts and anxieties. But considering that she is Shinjo Akane's friend after all, you still found a chance to explain the reason to her. Although Akane Shinjo invited you to dinner, it was mainly to thank you for your hard work on the script. It did not mean to support you like in TV series and movies. Similarly, You did not take the initiative to ask Akane Shinjo for money at most, it's just a loan, and the money will be returned to the other party afterwards. Although Takarada Rika doesn't particularly believe your explanation. But when she saw that Akane Shinjo believed in you unconditionally, she softened in the end. Because even a client like Akane Shinjo is completely inseparable from you, no matter how much she talks, it will be of no use. At the same time, Rika Takarada also told you seriously that since she was a child, this is the first time she has seen Akane Shinjo treat a boy so seriously. She hopes that you will not play with Shinjo Akane's true emotions, let alone hurt Shinjo Akane's already scarred heart. This is the first time I have seen Chien treat a boy with such a serious expression. This is the first time, and it will probably be the only first time in the future. Rika Takarada said this to Nango in the simulation. Akane Shinjo, who is unwilling to trust anyone's emotions due to family reasons, will be frustrated again this time in Nangxiang. So in the future, Akane Shinjo will never reveal her true feelings to anyone, right? You should bear in mind Rika Bayoda's warning. Perhaps because your attitude of agreeing was very sincere, Bayota Rika finally stopped lingering on this topic. Similarly, under the organization of you and Akane Shinjo, the official rehearsals of Monster in the Heart also went smoothly. During the rehearsal, you came up with various interesting and novel ideas. Similarly, the wonderful script you wrote with delicate brush strokes also amazed Rika Takarada, Yuta Hibiki, and Sho Utsumi, who came to help. Under your arrangement, Rika Takarada, who looks dashing and heroic just by pulling up her black hair, is responsible for playing the male protagonist. Yuta Hibiki, who looks relatively weak, is responsible for debugging the LCD screen behind the scenes, and Sho Utsumi is responsible for playing the role for the then ASIS monster. Akane Shinjo is responsible for the light effects, smoke, and other effects, while you are responsible for the background introduction and narration reading. As you continue to work together, your relationship with Rika Takarada, Yuta Hibiki, and Sho Utsumi has deepened. Especially Sho Utsumi, who is interested in special effects, monsters, and superheroes. As a monster character, he is very excited to discuss the details of the script with you. You are not particularly interested in men themselves, so you just answered some questions that must be answered regarding General Utsumi's enthusiasm. But even so, Utsumi will particularly admire your ideas. The relationship between Inner Sea and you has deepened. Nangxiangshi. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiudao Udazi Iwei. Chapter 166. No. What are you doing? Mr. Utsumi Sho? What the hell does it mean that you, a grown-up man, have a deeper relationship with me? Looking at the bespectacled male Utsumi Sho, who was pestering him in his simulated memory asking for details of the script, Nangxiangshi silently made a decision in his heart. In reality, if you meet this guy Utsumi General, he must hide and go. Time continues to move backward. With the efforts of everyone, the rehearsal of The Monster in the Heart went smoothly, and Akane Shinjo also successfully obtained the gymnasium performance list from the student union. Everything is developing in a good direction. Nangxiang closed his eyes. In my memory, he used guitar and various musical instruments to create monster roaring audio. Akane Shinjo has spent a lot of time making various exquisite handmade props and leather cases. Everyone who rehearsed hard with sweat. These scenes began to flash back in my mind. And in analog memory. Sitting in the center of the crowd, leaning towards Nangxiang's position, Akane Shinjo smiled so brightly for the first time. It was different from the usual fake smile. This time, she was sincere and not false. Nangxiangshi couldn't help but nodded. Akane Shinjo did show a sincere smile last week. But it was only when facing Nango Toki alone that Akane Shinjo could show her true expression. When facing other people, she still had the same carefully disguised appearance. But it's different in these 3 weeks. Even among outsiders such as Utsumi Sho and Hibiki Yuta, Shinjo Akane would subconsciously show a sincere smile. It seems that this time, just since high school, Akane Shinjo has the courage to gradually step out of the shadow of the past. This is definitely a good sign. In other words, if you want Akane Shinjo to truly get out of her inner shadow and let her take the initiative to contact others, make some true friends, this may be the most effective way. The reason why the previous program failed. It was also because of Nango's almost unconditional tolerance and tolerance for Akane Shinjo. She didn't want to face other people, so Nangxiang would face it by herself. It was this unconditional tolerance and tolerance that led to the failure of last week's project. Nangxiang Shi continued to look down. During the continuous efforts with everyone, Akane Shinjo gradually gained the courage to step out of the shadow of her childhood. Externally, she still has that cheerful and sunny expression, but people who know her are keenly aware that she seems to be different from before. Although she used to have a sunny and cheerful personality, she always seemed to lack some emotion. But now, she has a touch of playfulness and cuteness, which makes people who know her feel that she is even more charming. And in this process, the days are also moving forward day by day. Finally, the Oka festival officially begins. On this day, you rejected many people's appointments and specially set aside time to visit the Oka festival with her. She spent what can be said to be the happiest day with you. And just as she was about to perform on stage, she confessed to you what she had been hiding all along. Nangxiang. Is it yummy? So. While eating the takoyaki in his hand, Nangxiang said casually. Originally, all the snacks and dishes at the Oka festival were made by students, so the taste could only be described as average. And to be honest, in order to save the cost budget, there are no octopus legs in the takoyaki, at most there are some scattered octopus pieces. Naturally, I felt normal when I ate it in Nangxiang. Yeah. Next to Nango Toki, Akane Shinjo was silent for a while, then looked at the student council members who were helping to decorate the set of the monster in the heart, and then sighed. It's finally about to begin. Yes. It's finally starting. Her first and final step in pursuing her dream of a takyozatsu drama. Think of this. Akane Shinjo looked at Nangxiang subconsciously again. The other person was the first person to accompany her in taking this first step. After. I really want to continue walking with each other. She thought silently. Then he raised his head and asked softly. Nangxiang, what are your plans after this performance? Her question made Nangxiang she couldn't help but turn his gaze towards her. What else can you plan? Keep studying and stay number one. Stupid, I'm not asking about your life plans. Akane Shinjo's red eyes blinked, and she spoke in a very quiet tone, I mean, if this performance is successful. What if it succeeds? Nangxiang looked at Akane Shinjo. Under Nango's gaze, Shinjo Akane shifted her gaze, if it succeeds, I think you can continue to accompany me. When she said this, her face turned slightly red in the backstage under normal lighting conditions. Today is more than just the day when her dream of a takyozatsu drama takes off for the first time. It was also the day when she really wanted to give her heart to someone. The word accompany also means intercourse in Japanese. With Nangxiang's IQ, it was impossible not to understand. But what if it fails? Why? Shinjo Akane, who was waiting for an answer, obviously didn't expect Nangxiang to speak like this. Her originally shy face was stunned, and was replaced by a mixture of shame and anger. Nangxiang, you guy. She was really going to be pissed to death by Nangxiang Shi. This guy. At this moment, he was still deliberately bullying her. But what she didn't expect was that at this time, Nangxiang Shi was still speaking seriously. Success will naturally be rewarded, so of course there will be punishment for failure, right? Then what kind of punishment do you want? Akane Shinjo was so angry that she gritted her teeth and asked directly. This guy. Start thinking about failure before you succeed. There is actually a punishment. She wanted to hear what Nang Xiang could say. She stared at Nan Xiang with an unhappy expression. Then, if you fail, Xinzhou, how about I punish you by becoming my girlfriend? Why? Akane Xinzhou's expression, which was so angry that she was gritting her teeth before, froze at the moment she heard these words. At the same time, the angry and frustrated mood before. At this moment, it disappeared into thin air. She blinked in surprise. It took a long time to react. Then she turned her body to the side as if she was having trouble, and said with a groan. Nang Xiang, I find that you are really mean-spirited sometimes. Are you bullying me on purpose? Yes. They were obviously ready to answer. But he had to find a way out at the last moment to make her anxious. Isn't this just bullying her? Don't you like Xinzhou? Hidden in the dark corner of the backstage, Nan Xiangxi stretched out his hand, turned her body over and asked. In response to Nang Xiangxi's question, Akane Xinzhou said nothing. Although her body was upright, she turned her head to the side. Akane, don't you like this? Nang Xiangxi simply stretched out his hand to hold her face and looked directly at her. Xinzhou Akane. The heart that had calmed down just now began to be restless again. The blush on his face said it all. She dodged Nan Xiangxi's too hot gaze, and it took her a long time to say something inarticulately, evil intentions. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiu Dao Yu de Ziwei. Chapter 167. This guy is really good and bad. Even though he already knew the answer, he still teased her like this. Only. I want to hear it from your own mouth. Akane Xinzhou sighed in her heart. Well. Forget it. She felt that maybe she had fallen into Nang Xiang's hands like this all her life, right? When facing him, she had no ability to resist at all and could only let him bully her. She estimated that even in the future, as long as it was what Nang Xiangxi wished for, she would obey him. But the key thing is, she doesn't dislike such days. Thinking of this, she buried her head deeply into Nan Xiangxi's chest and spoke softly. Like. Yes. If anything. From the beginning, Nang Xiang bullied himself and forced him to show his true feelings. And now. She actually liked Nang Xiangxi. In the dark corner of the stage where no one can see. Akane Xinzhou stretched out her hand and hugged Nang Xiang tightly. It was like holding a treasure she had picked up. Never willing to let go. Chapter 142. Your status in Takarada Rika has risen, 4,000 words. Whether it is reward or punishment, in fact, the choice you make has already been determined. You and Akane Xinzhou have become lovers. At the same time, under the watchful eyes of the two of you, the stage play of The Monster in the Heart has officially begun. Excellent story background, proficiency on stage after long rehearsals, and your excellent recitation of the manuscript including the stage LCD screen that Akane Xinzhou specially paid to rent, it all played a role in perfecting and enhancing the atmosphere. From the appearance of the monster then ASIS to the response of the Japanese government, Rika Takarada's heroic monologue and the painful emotional struggle during the performance are enough to make The Monster in the Heart a student-led drama stand out at the Tea Festival. The originally noisy venue gradually became quiet, and everyone held their breath, immersed in the story world you constructed. What worries Akane Xinzhou is that your script overly alludes to the facts, and the things that caused dissatisfaction among some people did not actually happen. But this is actually what you expected. For Monster in the Heart, the students at Oka High School only care about the excitement of the plot. Not many people pay attention to the background you set for discharging nuclear wastewater. The story continues to develop backwards. Then ASIS, who was alienated by nuclear wastewater pollution, also began to destroy urban buildings wantonly. The realistic effects of the models you carefully created, as well as the realistic small explosion effect scenes in them, made the students below exclaim. They never thought that a special stage play focusing on the child supply could touch their hearts in this way. When I saw the endless ruins of Tokyo reflected on the stage LCD screen, I also saw the moment when then ASIS stood on the ruins and looked back at the ocean. There was a roaring sound in the venue, which was louder than any previous performance. The performance of Monster in the Heart is undoubtedly a success. And listening to the applause of the students in the entire gymnasium, Akane Shinjo's body, which had been tense, finally relaxed at this moment. She and you smiled at each other, looking at Rika Takarada and others on the stage who were taking their bows. The success of Monster in the Heart not only gave Akane Shinjo the confidence to pursue her dream of Takyozatsu, but also gave her the courage to be uneasy. After the performance, with you by your side, she expressed her sincere gratitude to everyone who was willing to help. And this move was something you and Rika Bayada would never have dared to imagine before. With your help, she gradually began to step out of the shadow of her childhood, raised her head, and looked forward to the future. And she, at this moment, loves you even more deeply. One night after the performance of Monster in the Heart, she took the initiative to invite you to her house. That night, you stayed at her house, and your understanding of her body deepened. Similarly, you also learned about her twisted family relationship from her voluntary confession. But in the past, she was unwilling to talk about and recall this topic with your company. She gained the courage to face it again. She told you that after she officially graduates from high school and has the ability to live independently, she wants to officially sever ties with the current Shinjo family. She confides in you all these thoughts that she would never mention to outsiders. In essence, she trusts you for no reason. And in the face of her trust, you also gave her the greatest respect. Because this is her own choice, no one can interfere. But equally, you also expressed your concerns. She has been living the same life as you, spend money lavishly after leaving the Shinjo family. Can she still be the same as ordinary people? In response, she, who was leaning in your arms, just smiled evilly and bit your shoulder. Then she was worried that the bite was too harsh and licked it a few more times. For her now, as long as you are by her side, whether her material life is rich or not may not be that important fundamentally. You became lovers with her. You have become her irreplaceable other half. Okay. Very good. Looking at the simulated text and feeling the memories in his mind, Nangxiang felt a sense of relief. It's different from the previous episode where he forced Akane Shinjo. This time it was Akane Shinjo who took the initiative to reveal her feelings and expressed her intention to sever ties with the Shinjo family. The results of both appear to be the same. But the process is completely different. Passive and active seem to be the same word, but the subsequent results are very different. He doesn't know if something unexpected will happen next. Tianhu's opening this time made Nangxiang feel a little hopeful, so he continued to look down. Time continues to move backward. After the performance of Monster in the Heart, the story of your relationship with Akane Shinjo, due to her high-profile behavior, quickly spread throughout Oka High School. But she didn't care facing the questions from the heartbroken male students. She admitted her relationship with you with a smile on her face. She no longer wears a hypocritical mask like before, nor does she care about other people's opinions as pathologically as before. Akane Shinjo decided to live only for herself. Similarly, she will only care about what you and the friends she has sincerely communicated with. Under your suggestion, she wanted to sever ties with the Shinjo family after graduating from high school and began to adapt to working life outside in advance. She had setbacks from time to time while working outside, but with your company and comfort, it was generally smooth sailing. While she works hard, you don't forget to study with her. No matter what, Your name will always be on top of hers on the performance list. This made her very unconvinced, and she secretly asked you to put water in the test several times. You are expressionless and indifferent to your girlfriend's request, and you still crush her with an absolute advantage in terms of grades. Your academic ability as the great demon king of Nangxiang is clearly revealed. She was extremely angry about this, but her feeble resistance to you was just adding more chili, pepper, and other spices to the food she made for you. Her cooking skills are very good, but she only adds chili powder, pepper, and other spices to season, which actually does not affect the taste of the food itself. The only thing that makes you and her more concerned is that after watching The Monster in the Heart, Rika Takarada seems to have become interested in takyozatsu dramas. She often comes to you and Akane Shinjo to ask questions about your acting skills in takyozatsu performances. The other party is Akane Shinjo's friend, and he is also a partner who worked with you in The Monster of the Heart. When faced with Beata Rika's questions, you will basically answer them all. After school, you often spend time with Akane Shinjo and Rika Takarada. Under your superb and humorous speaking skills, the atmosphere of the conversation is always extremely relaxed. Similarly, in communicating with you, Beata Rika has also deepened his understanding of you. She will also occasionally make little jokes with you like Shinjo Akane. Sometimes, Akane Shinjo will come home late due to her part-time job schedule at this time. Rika Takarada will always accompany you, but you and she will probably just watch some special photography videos. When it is almost dark, you will also send her to the train at night. Your relationship with Rika Takarada deepened without Akane Shinjo knowing. No. Looking at the words your relationship with Rika Takarada deepened without Akane Shinjo knowing, it seems to have a slightly profound meaning. Nangxiang she couldn't help but touch his head. This. Indeed, as mentioned above, something unexpected happened to him. But I never said I wanted something unexpected like this. Nangxiang she rubbed his eyebrows. Miss Beaduo's sudden intervention forced him to pay attention. But the simulation continues. Continuing to worry and think about your current situation won't help. Nangxiang she once again immersed his mind in the simulation. Your relationship with Akane Shinjo continues to heat up as you come into contact with her. Similarly, you have not forgotten the dream of a takyozatsu drama that she has been pursuing. To this end, you and Rika Takarada, who is also very interested in takyozatsu dramas, gained a lot of knowledge about takyozatsu films. In the process of supplementing your knowledge of special photography together, you will become more familiar with her. When she comes to your house occasionally, she will cook something for you like Akane Shinjo did. Similarly, when you feel tired, I will go to the tram stop alone without bothering you. Her lazy and somewhat straightforward character is completely different from Akane Shinjo. You admire her straightforward character very much. You and her gradually become inseparable friends. But during this process, you also noticed some hesitation, or some soft parts in her character. It's just that she didn't want to take the initiative to speak, so you didn't ask too much. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiudeo Udazi. Chapter 168. After all, friends also hide some secrets that are difficult to reveal to others. Time continues to move backward. 1 month before you were about to graduate from high school, when Akane Shinjo happened to be away, Rika Takarada came to find you. Nangxiang time. Nangxiang just calmed down his heart. Because of the imitation of Nakabata Rika's actions, it was brought up again. After the last performance of Monster in the Heart, she became very interested in takyozatsu dramas, but similarly, facing this field that she had almost never set foot in before high school, Rika Takarada showed great of hesitation. She really wants to be like Shinjo Akane and pursue her dreams regardless of herself. But I am also worried that the road behind this is extremely heavy and difficult. For this reason, she came to you specifically, hoping to hear your thoughts as the #1 student in Oka High School. The memories in the simulation began to surge. The location is Akane Shinjo's home. It was probably the weekends of Saturday and Sunday, and Akane Shinjo went out to buy new Takyozatsu peripherals and purchase figurine materials for making monster models. Therefore, there are only two people in her family, Nangxiang Toki and Takarada Rika. So, lying on the sofa, eating potato chips and playing with his mobile phone horizontally, Rika Bayada turned his royal blue eyes sideways. "What do you think of my idea, Nangxiang?" In front of old friends like Nangxiang she basically didn't care about her image. As long as she didn't expose herself, she usually acted casually. Regarding her question, Nangxiang raised his head and asked in a calm tone. "Are you talking about wanting to become a special effects actor?" Putting down the potato chips, the seemingly casual Takarada Rika's body was slightly tense at this time, and his eyes as clear as gems couldn't help but look at Nangxiang. And it was under her gaze. Nangxiang said something that seemed to be indifferent. "Isn't it pretty good?" "Yeah." The other party's indifferent attitude made Rika Takarada stay silent for a while before speaking. Nangxiang continued to read the novel, and continued to answer while reading. "Actually, no matter which path you choose in the future, it will be very difficult. It's hard for special effects actors to make money, so is it easy in other industries?" Nangxiang continued to read the novel. "To be precise, there is nothing simple in life. In my opinion, it is already very remarkable that you now have a future goal. Don't care too much about failure, but don't ignore failure either. This is the advice I can think of to give you. As for planning the future for you and thinking about the future for you, I can tell you straightforwardly that I can't do it." Nangxiang looked away from the novel. "I will support your ideas and provide you with the help I can, but I cannot be responsible for your future, Rika." There was another moment of silence. Rika Takarada also focused her attention on the screen of her mobile phone again. After a while, only then did her voice ring out. "Thank you, Nangxiang." Nangxiang nodded and responded. Another minute passed. "Pass the bag of potato chips. Want to eat?" Nangxiang. "Yeah. Eat something." Nangxiang took out a few chips from Rika Takarada's bag of potato chips without any care, and then turned his attention to the novel. And behind him on the couch, Rika Takarada also focused her gaze on Nangxiang again on her mobile phone. She ate the potato chips and continued to play with her phone with her head down. Although this kind of life is a bit dull, but in Rika Takarada's opinion, it feels just right. You clearly told Takarada Rika that you cannot be responsible for her future, so naturally you cannot make rash decisions for her. Regarding your words, Rika Takarada, who was still hesitant at first, made up his mind. She decided to really work hard for a goal like you and Akane Shinjo. Even if she ends up failing, she may be able to accept it happily. Your status in Bayada Rika's heart has increased. Chapter 143. 8,000 words. Write the next chapter immediately. Your status in Bayada Rika's heart has increased. No way. Nangxiang looked at this line of words and couldn't help but shake his head. Isn't the relationship with Rika Takarada progressing too fast? Only. It shouldn't be a big problem. Nangxiang murmured to himself. Yes. It shouldn't be that big of a problem. Rika Takarada is the kind of person who is lazy and never wants to compete with others for something. Normally this person would die at will. Let her compete with Akane Shinjo? Just thinking about it, Nangxiang felt that it was basically impossible. The following simulation just verified Nangxiang's idea. You have a very high status in Bayada Rika's heart, but your relationship seems to be no more than a true friend. She often has physical contact with you, but that is only as a friend. She is lazy and always does things slowly and slowly, making you always worried and helpful. Regarding this, she just smiled and fully accepted your kindness. She feels at ease being with you. But she has never expressed her love to you. She is like an ancient well, her beautiful face is always calm. Putting aside the rapidly improving relationship between Takarada Rika and you and Shinjo Akane have also met the first turning point in your life. It turned out to be a video of a performance of Monster in the Heart when I was a sophomore in high school. I don't know who uploaded it to the internet. The excellent workmanship of costumes and props, the brilliant background design, and the poignant but romantic script that no one can ignore have aroused heated discussions on the internet. And your identity as a high school student creator has shocked and surprised countless people inside and outside the circle. They couldn't imagine that just high school students could produce such perfect works. For this reason, people from the special photography industry came to our door. They hope that you and Akane Shinjo can officially enter the Takyozatsu drama circle. It is said that your excellent script attracted the attention of a script writer of a certain Takyozatsu drama who is about to retire. He hopes to find an apprentice who is willing to take over when he is about to retire. When the other party retires completely, you can inherit his connections within the network and the programs he was responsible for. This is undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you and Akane Shinjo. Not only will you be able to enter the special photography circle in advance, but you will even have the opportunity to inherit the legacy left by the seniors. Faced with such a huge temptation, Shinjo Akane was a little moved, while you fell into thinking. The next option has far-reaching implications. Do you think? 1. Is there such a good thing in the world that can be delivered to your door? Don't hesitate, just say yes. 2. Although I don't really believe in pie-in-the-sky good things, for the sake of Akane Shinjo and her own dream, maybe she can give it a try. 3. I am the man who wants to become the god of Japanese Takyozatsu. How can you succumb to others? Politely refuse. 4. Simulate in person. Options are listed. When Nan Xiang cheered up, he sighed inwardly. As expected, it is Akane Shinjo who is currently the most difficult to simulate. Counting the first 2 far-reaching options, plus this time, there have been a total of 3 far-reaching options. It's hard to choose. Nang Xiangxi shook his head. The far-reaching options are, to put it bluntly, the options that determine the outcome of the simulation. If you make the wrong choice, there is a high chance that the good hand in front of you will be played badly. Thinking of this, Nan Xiangxi cheered up and looked at these options again. Yes to the first option without hesitation. This option is too straightforward and no-brainer at all. You must know that nothing is simple in adult society. To put it bluntly, the special photography circle is also one of the film and television circles. A chief screenwriter who can mingle in the film and television industry. Would you give him the pie-in-the-sky thing when Nang Xiang was given to him for no reason? If it were so easy to get along, would Shinjo Akane choose to commit suicide by taking pills? Nang Xiang silently underlined the first option. Turning to the second option. The second option is more of a compromise. Although he was a little concerned about the pie that was suddenly delivered to his door, and he might have been defensive, in the end he chose to agree to this path for Akane Shinjo's dream. This is essentially no different than the first option. The only difference would be that Nang Xiang entered the Takyozatsu world with caution. But even being defensive is of no use. Nang Xiangxi looked at this option and sighed. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiudeo Udazi. Chapter 169. As long as you really choose to enter the industry, the other party will have various ways to extract residual value from you. I even felt that when I was in Nang Xiang. It's probably because the Takyozatsu chief screenwriter who is about to retire has exhausted his talents and can't write anything good anymore, so he wants to squeeze creativity and ideas from newcomers like him who have just entered the industry. This is not impossible. In fact, in the circle of screenwriters, there are often seniors who rely on their elders to exploit their younger peers, and use various promises and commitments to squeeze the excellent creative ideas of newcomers. When the time comes, a formal contract will be signed, and then he and Akane Shinjo, two newbies with no work experience, will not be able to receive any program planning, and will have to become each other's writers. This kind of thing is really possible. Thinking of this, Nan Xiangxi focused his attention directly on the third option. Decline politely. This option is undoubtedly giving up the opportunity in front of you. But Nan Xiangxi felt that there was nothing wrong with it. After all, he and Akane Shinjo hadn't even graduated from high school in the simulation. Instead of jumping into the Takyozatsu circle right now, it is better to study hard first, accumulate yourself, and enrich your knowledge. Wait until you have a sufficient understanding of the circle before stepping into it. Thinking like this, Nan Xiangxi directly chose 3. Faced with the temptation suddenly placed in front of the door, you thought about it again and again, but finally chose to refuse. Because you feel that neither your qualifications nor your strength, as well as your unfamiliarity with the film and television industry, are enough to support you and Akane Shinjo to survive in this Takyozatsu circle. You also don't want to be used as a gunner by others just after signing the contract. One night, after you indulged with her, you expressed your opinion. Shinjo Akane feels a little regretful about your choice. Because the road to realizing your dreams is right in front of you, but you just pushed it away. But at the same time, Shinjo Akane also understands you very well, although she is temporarily obsessed with desire. As you said, agreeing to the other party rashly may cause your dreams to die. You reject the visitors who come to visit you, and continue to study, preparing for the college exams after graduating from high school. Your previous concerns have come true. The main writer and screenwriter of the Takyozatsu drama who invited you to inherit the legacy is in trouble. The other party was exposed to many violent revelations about squeezing the newcomers and descendants. Similarly, the newcomers and juniors responsible for breaking the news have their remaining lives in the film and television industry basically ruined. No one is willing to believe the newcomers who stab themselves in the back, even if they are indeed doing the right thing. The sudden result made Akane Shinjo feel frightened for a while. Likewise, it also made her sigh at your wisdom in retreating bravely when faced with temptation. If you hadn't analyzed the pros and cons, you, as newcomers, might have been completely frozen by the TV station by now. You study hard, and time passes backwards. With everyone's curious attention, you and Akane Shinjo were admitted to Tokyo University of the Arts, a well-known film and television university in Japan. Among them, you chose the film and television major. It is worth mentioning that with your unremitting study and tutoring, all the girls who ended the band have been admitted to the ideal universities of their dreams. And the band. Oh. When he saw this, Nan Xiangxi suddenly remembered that he indeed had plans to tutor several girls in the band. It's just that the Oka festival is coming soon, and he has a lot of things on his hands, so he keeps putting off this matter. But if you just look at the simulation, the effect of tutoring seems to be good. Nan Xiangxi nodded silently and was in a good mood. At least I can send these 2 young girls, Goto Kazuri and Yamada Ryo, to enter their ideal university. Maybe I still have a little bit of talent in tutoring. But now is not the time to care about that. Nan Xiangxi looks at the development after the simulation. Enrolling into an excellent university is just the first step towards realizing your dream for you and Akane Shinjo. The pace between you and her never stops. While studying at school, you are still creating works that are excellent enough to attract attention both inside and outside the circle. Henai-io, which you wrote with a literary touch, tells the story of a daughter of the sea who was framed for fishing, fled, and was despised and looked down upon by others. At the end of the story, the Henai-io is experiencing after being looked down upon and disliked by countless people, he committed suicide at home, while the male protagonist who really liked Henai-io looked at her figure lying quietly in the morgue with tears on his face. You asked acting students of the same grade to borrow the university's performance equipment and uploaded it to the internet after filming the excellent but sad plot brought tears to countless people's eyes. Similarly, your works have once again attracted the attention of people in the film and television industry. In February of the same year, AMA won the honor of the Tokyo Amateur Literature Script Gold Award, and you gradually became famous at Tokyo University of the Arts. Many senior students in the acting department know your names and express the hope that they can play roles in your next script. In May of the same year, in collaboration with her, you created Takyozatsu and Her with a romantic writing style. It tells the story of the romance between an insecure heroine who likes Takyozatsu dramas and a rural young man who fall in love with each other. A refreshing urban story, a simple love story, but it makes countless people yearn for love. A public opinion poll was conducted online, hoping that the number of votes for the TV drama version of the script Takyozatsu and Her would reach an astonishing tens of thousands, ranking first. The outstanding talents of the two of you in scripts have attracted the attention of young people. The names of Akane Shinjo and Nango are gradually spreading among young people. The long-form TV script Takyozatsu and Her that you co-wrote was also purchased by TV Asahi in October of the same year, and it was scheduled to be officially broadcast in 11 episodes in March of the following year. Similarly, in addition to creating scripts for various excellent TV series, you and Akane Shinjo have never forgotten to conceive the most perfect Takyozatsu script. This is the grandest dream between you and her, and it will eventually be released in a way that will shock everyone. You are making great progress in your career. After entering college, she had fully matured and severed ties with the Shinjo family early. Instead of staying in that home where she can only feel cold, it is better to be by your side all the time. This is all she thinks. This time to sever ties, she did not rely on your power. She just made a date with her parents, ignored their indifference towards her, and calmly announced her intention to sever ties with the Shinjo family. As for Shinjo Akane's change, Shinjo's parents were particularly surprised. They couldn't imagine why Akane Shinjo, who used to be like an ornamental doll, suddenly had such courage. And this reason is only known to Akane Shinjo. After rejecting her parents' suggestion to think about it again, she saw your face when she returned home. This time, she feels particularly at ease, because from now on, you will be by her side forever. In the simulation, the scales of memory flash with sporadic brightness. Are you really not going to think about it again? Akane. The person who frowned and still spoke in a cold tone was Shinjo's father, who had never expected that things would develop like this. He looked at Akane Shinjo, and for the first time he didn't address her as that thing. Because in his opinion, the current Akane Shinjo has completely broken away from the weakness in her heart before, showing a brilliance that no one can ignore. This is completely different from the useless daughter he had before. As the current head of the Shinjo family, he must of course try to retain the eldest daughter of the Shinjo family who looks talented, confident, and calm. Although the Shinjo family is now a big business, it has actually been suffering from a headache over the years due to the lack of an actual helmsman. Akane Shinjo now is completely different from before. Maybe she really has that qualification. I know you hate the Shinjo family very much, but after all, we are still a family related by blood. Shinjo's father said this while raising his head. Although we have treated you coldly over the years, we have never treated you badly in life. What about your boyfriend? Shinjo's father asked back. You are sure that he will not change his mind in the future? Can he really go to the end with you in the future? If you stay at Shinjo's house, at least you will have a way out. What he said makes sense. Staying at Shinjo's house has more advantages than disadvantages for Akane Shinjo. The mere fact that Shinjo Akane might take over the entire Shinjo family business in the future is enough to save her decades of hard work. For any reason, she would not refuse this wealth that was almost delivered to her door. But, Mr. Shinjo, you seem to have made a mistake. Shinjo Akane stood up, her face that always had a narrow and evil smile, now no longer had the usual playfulness, only pure seriousness. Besides him, I don't want anything. No matter how much money you give me, I can't replace him. This is my attitude. You don't have to keep me. Of course, you can't keep me either. After saying this, Akane Shinjo stood up. There was no needless invective, and there was no outburst either. She spoke so calmly, then stood up and turned around to leave. And just when she left the home behind her, for no reason, she suddenly felt an extremely relaxed feeling from her body to her heart. It was as if she was truly free at this moment. For what she did, you just silently supported her behind the scenes. Similarly, you have also made a decision in your heart. You decide to spend the rest of your life cherishing this girl who is willing to drop everything and face everything with you. The days continue to pass backwards. Due to the official broadcast of your script Takyozatsu and Her on TV Asahi, you and Akane Shinjo's reputation at Tokyo University of the Arts has been completely established. Some screenwriting professors will even let you analyze your writing in the lecture hall experience. Similarly, through contact with these people, you have come into contact with many connections in the film and television industry. Just during your college years, your two outstanding talents and outstanding looks have attracted the attention of countless people. Takyozatsu and Her has achieved very good ratings. In the same year, you have secretly accumulated connections and established relationships with many people in the film and television industry. Similarly, you have not forgotten to refine your writing skills under your influence. Akane Shinjo's writing style also tends to be romantic and poignant. In the same year, under the joint recommendation of several professors at the same level, you were the first batch of students at Tokyo University of the Arts to jump from sophomore to junior year. At the same time, you continue to publish your own works on the internet. Students and seniors from the performance department of the same grade worked hard to be featured in your works. Because the scripts written by you and Akane Shinjo are so outstanding, they are not inferior to those in the industry. If I can star in the scripts you wrote, it will definitely play an important role in the future career of actors. There are even several students from the acting department who started to enter the circle because of your scripts since college, and they became a little popular because of it. The scripts written by you, who are in the same grade, are a rare shortcut for all undergraduates in the acting department at Tokyo University of the Arts. There are even many good-looking female acting students who come to visit late at night when Akane Shinjo is not around. Faced with these temptations, you feel a headache and refuse without hesitation. After Akane Shinjo knew about these things, she directly kicked the female acting students who came to her from the selection list, and she said, in the name of telling you not to be deceived by these bad women. You have no objection to this. After all, at Tokyo University of the Arts, there are countless people who want to participate in your script. While you were studying in college, you created many excellent scripts. You wrote the fictional period drama Momiji Sekiro, the criminal investigation drama The Pursuit, and she wrote the fantasy drama The Story of Time Travel. Among them, Red Leaf Sekiro was adapted and put on the screen, and received the horror ratings of 13.7% in the season. Pursuit was compressed into a low-cost movie. From the box office point of view, it can also be regarded as the best movie of the season. A Dark Horse, the fantasy drama Pepsi, time travel story was placed in the late-night slot, becoming a dark horse in the ratings of late-night dramas on TV Asahi. Your ability to produce excellent scripts is jaw-dropping. Gradually, your reputation has begun to spread in the industry. People in the industry gradually call you Teacher Nangxiang and Teacher Shinjo, and your abilities have been recognized by all practitioners. Your excellent script writing skills are also the envy of countless people. Several TV stations have extended an olive branch to you. Faced with these invitations to which you could easily become famous as long as you agreed, you and she did not just agree. Instead, day after day, you continued to hone your writing skills and accumulate your own connections. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My love simulation with them. Author, Chiudeo Udazi. Chapter 170. During this period, some people also raised doubts, thinking that these overly mature scripts could not have come from the hands of you and her, who were only college students. Behind your fame, there must be capital at work. They dug up her background of the Shinjo family and started attacking you at the same time. Regarding these doubts and public opinions, you and Shinjo Akane did not comment too much, but in March of the same year, you wrote a script called The Loud Cricket. The story tells the story of a short-sighted and stupid person who defines others without authorization based only on his own judgment. As a result, he makes many jokes, offends countless people, and leads to the separation of his wife and children. But even in the story at the end, the short-sighted and stupid person did not realize his mistake. In the end, he cursed and still made his own stupid comments and opinions about the next person who came. The language of the script is humorous, but the content has a sense of irony. Various metaphors have even blocked the mouths of those who raised questions before. You have shown everything with your strength, and there is no need to explain anything else. As time goes by, the negative comments about you from the outside world have become less and less, and the positive comments about you have become more and more. The two of you supported each other and moved forward together. Soon you obtained a master's degree in film and television literature based on the recommendation of your instructor and the various outstanding scripts you created while you were in school. On the day she received her master's degree, she leaned in your arms, her eyes full of the hard work she had done over the past few years. She is different from her in high school. Although she still maintains her short hair now that she is in college, her cute and playful face has become mature and refined, showing a charm that is difficult to describe in words. You look up together with her. The clear sky above is just like your mood. The long airplane clouds bring midsummer, and also take away all your boring moods. For you, getting a master's degree is just the beginning of your dream. In everyone's shocked eyes, you have not devoted yourself to the creation of movies and TV series as they expected. But after graduation, he founded a tokusatsu drama club called Nango Shinjo. This makes everyone feel incomprehensible. According to the scripts you have created in the past, without exception, they are all works with the theme of literary romance. Why did you choose to go far away from the near and establish a tokusatsu drama club that already has a delicate position in the film and television industry? They don't understand why you would do such a laborious and thankless thing. Similarly, you have not disclosed the reasons. Under the eyes of everyone who is not optimistic, you have used the wealth you have accumulated over the years and the contacts you have accumulated in the industry to handle all the procedures easily. Nango Shinjo Tokusatsu Club officially started operation. You and Akane Shinjo actively investigated the market, carefully analyzed the popular tokusatsu drama types and hero images, and finally decided on the theme of the next tokusatsu drama. Weird Sun tells the story of a new century in which heroes have become a profession in such a large environment. Some weirdos who have never done anything bad are killed by heroes who claim to be just and have a glamorous appearance. It is also in the general background that Black Sun, one of the protagonists, stands up and fights against the just hero. Because you want to make the protagonist's image more likable, you use extremely powerful designs, similar to metal shells, shark fin designs, and expressive mutant swords. The other protagonist, as a bystander, recorded everything he saw. He witnessed the shameful things done by the just hero. Similarly, he also felt guilty because of his investigation and tracking of the Black Sunday. Extreme guilt and self-blame. I have never considered myself a hero, I just think that I should do something, and standing in front of you and stopping your behavior is what I want to do. In the form of carefully constructed dual protagonists, and using the tracking routines of the most popular and mature criminal investigation dramas at present, using the actions of Black Sun as the main line, and the process of continuous tracking by human protagonists, you have written your own wonderful dark hero tokusatsu drama story. But there is only one thing, and that is the second human protagonist you have not yet finalized the candidate. As your club's first tokusatsu drama and the first dark hero, similar to Chainsaw Man, script to be launched, you are extremely serious about casting. But due to various reasons, you have been unable to find a suitable candidate. It was also at this time that a person took the initiative to visit, which surprised you all. It turns out that Rika Takarada, who was admitted to an ordinary performing arts university right after high school, came to you. It has been a year or two since we last met. She still has the exceptionally beautiful black hair and sapphire blue eyes, and she always has a lazy tone when speaking. She submitted an application to you, hoping to participate in the casting of another human protagonist in Weird Son. On the day of the audition, Rika Takarada performed extremely well. Her terrifying line skills and free expression of emotions allowed you both to feel all the hard work the other has put in over the years. What happened next was everything as it should be. Monsters Day has achieved terrifying ratings. As soon as it was aired, in just the first episode aired, it reached a ratings of 14.9%. In this era when Japanese tokusatsu dramas are gradually declining and the ratings are not as good as before, such terrifying ratings have attracted the attention of countless people. In addition to the overly handsome design of the Black Sun leather case, among them, the human protagonist played by Rika Takarada, who looks heroic with long hair and short hair, has also attracted widespread attention. The acting skills are online, and the script is so good, which has led to the popularity of Weird Day. You once again used your own strength to announce to all the previously unfavorable eyes that you have completely established a foothold in the film and television industry. Similarly, there are also peripheral, toy, and figurine manufacturers who have taken the initiative to come to you after this, hoping to obtain the production rights for the toys, figurines and other peripherals of Weird Son. You and Akane Shinjo did not reject this. No matter what industry, capital injection is needed. But similarly, you and she also stated that the planned plot of Monster Days will not be changed just because of the bundled sales of subsequent toys. Time continues to move backward. The performances of Weird Day are getting more and more exciting, and the ratings are rising day by day. In the previous episode that is about to end, a weirdo protagonist and a human protagonist finally face each other head-on. This fateful showdown caused the originally rising ratings to finally rise to 28.9% at this moment. This is a terrifying figure that countless tokusatsu dramas from the Reiwa period could not achieve, but you did it. Peripherals of Monster Black Sun are now on sale. Not only in the special circles in Japan, but also in the special circles abroad. There are countless weird protagonists designed for you who are fascinated. In this season, the dolls, figures, and official posters of Weird Day were very popular. Even if we increase production efforts again, we still cannot catch up with the number of orders. You and Akane Shinjo have accumulated a lot of money and wealth as a result. With such enthusiasm, Weird Son has ended. The protagonists of humans and monsters confront each other. The humans stand in the darkness, while the monsters stand in the sun, symbolizing different positions. Why attack the hero, / My love simulation with them. Author, Chiudeo Udazi. Chapter 171. Yes. If you haven't gotten it, you shouldn't feel regretful. If you haven't thought about it, you won't feel lost. Rika Takarada lay on the table again. I don't know if it's the alcohol. She closed her eyes and murmured. Perhaps I have had some admiration for you since a long time ago. After she finished saying this, she didn't speak again. Because she couldn't continue talking. Whether it's for Akane Shinjo or for Nango Toki. It can only be like a drunkard talking nonsense. I hope you don't mind. I hope you care too. As early as a long time ago, when you helped Akane Shinjo come out of the shadows, Rika Takarada has cared about you. She is delighted with her friend's transformation. Similarly, she also feels that you have done something that she cannot do at all. Maybe it was at that time that she had an indescribable feeling of admiration for you. After that, you discussed her life and changed her life's thoughts. The emotion of longing continues to develop. She thinks it would be great to be with you. Under the brewing time. This emotion has not weakened, but has become stronger. But she knows that this kind of emotion should never be felt when facing you. But today, with the help of alcohol, she finally expressed the thought hidden in her heart. But it's just saying it. She is still the same as she was a long time ago, quiet and casual, silently watching by your side, close, but not too close, that's all. In reality, Nangxiang opened his eyes and sighed in his heart. Rika Takarada is different from the second female leads in several previous routes. Although I have a clear fondness for him. But he didn't get close to him. But the more this happens, the more people sigh. Nan Xiangxi shook his head and continued to look down. Your relationship with Rika Takarada seems to have taken a step forward, but also seems to have taken a step backward. In this regard, even if you have always had a high EQ and IQ, you may not be able to figure it out. The only thing that can be confirmed is that her attitude towards you remains the same. In this regard, you can only temporarily put her affairs aside and refocus on your current career. Monster's Day ended perfectly, achieving what can be said to be extremely terrifying results. You know, the 30.1% ratings can only be compared to the many wonderful tokusatsu dramas from the Showa era. Because of this, you and Akane Shinjo have gained support from a large number of fans in the tokusatsu drama circle. Rika Takarada is also considered to be one of the strongest tokusatsu actresses in the new era because of her superb acting skills and excellent line skills. Nango Shinjo Tokusatsu Club is therefore officially on the right track. After the completion of Weird Days, you took advantage of the current popularity and released the theatrical version of Weird Days. With your management and the promotion assisted by Akane Shinjo, the preview PV for the theatrical version of Kuron Kurohi was released. It still has a cool shooting technique, Kurohi's handsome leather case and the reappearance of Rika Takarada. Countless tokusatsu fans are looking forward to it. While preparing for the theatrical version of Monster Days, you and Akane Shinjo did not forget to prepare for the next work. She will design the original character and you will be responsible for the script creation. Unlike Kamen Rider and Ultraman, the characters and scripts you design do not inherit the same worldview like them. Black Son of Strangers is an independent worldview, and all subsequent works will be the same as Black Son of Strangers, inheriting a different worldview. Among them, Rika Takarada plays a key role. Your writing skills have already been accumulated in college. Long-term creation can keep your inspiration in an inexhaustible state. Under such circumstances, you easily created Devil, Demon, Ghost of Reverberation and other works. The former is a dark heroic story that uses various abilities of the demonized protagonist as a superpower plot, while the latter uses the phenomenon of ghosts and spirits to create a supernatural heroic story. Your strong creative ability has enabled your works to achieve outstanding results repeatedly. Similarly, it has also brought huge profits to Nangxiang Shinjo Club. Using this money, you continue to grow and develop. Ishibashi, a well-known Japanese film and television review weekly, commented, "Excellent prop production and perfect plot design. Nango Shinjo's success is no accident. Countless people who want to follow and imitate their footsteps must realize that at this point, they are people with unparalleled talents. Likewise, they have also told everyone with their actions that tokusatsu dramas have not declined in the Reiwa era. In the past 2 years, the reputation of Nangxiang Shinjo Club has greatly increased. Not only children like your Dark Hero special films, but even many adults will turn on the TV to watch them in their spare time. Nangxiang Shinjo Limited gradually became known as a major national special photography factory. As the heroine/heroine of Nango Shinjo Club, Rika Takarada has also become a very famous actor. Normally, not only special photography films, but also some well-known movies are willing to invite her to audition. She was a little hesitant about this, but with your encouragement, she still tried hard to play other roles, not just limited to tokyozatsu dramas. In your spare time, you will accompany Akane Shinjo shopping around. She is not a person who can take time off in the first place, and will often take you to various stores to check the situation. You will also be recognized by fans when you are walking on the street because of your outstanding appearance, and they will ask to take photos with you. You and her in the photo are smiling brightly. In life, she has completely adapted to the rhythm of living with you. Whether it's getting up in the morning to cook, helping to handle work together at noon, or going home to rest together at night, or occasionally solving physical and psychological dependence and comfort. She is always so enthusiastic towards you. You will often hold her in your arms and watch the special dramas you carefully produced at this time. She will always show a satisfied expression. Her dream has come true due to your efforts and hers. The next step is to continue to look to the future and think about tomorrow. This year, you and she are 26 years old. Nango Shinjo Club continues to develop. You have produced many excellent films, and your novel understanding of special photography has also injected fresh blood and vitality into the entire special photography world. In this year, there are endless excellent works in the Japanese tokyozatsu circle, but Nango Shinjo's tokyozatsu IP always stands above everyone else. It is precisely because of such strength that you have not compromised the plot of your work because of any capital injection. Your reputation in the tokyozatsu circle is getting bigger and bigger, and your reputation is gradually no longer limited to the entire tokyozatsu circle. Some people vaguely refer to you as the god of tokyozatsu in the new era. At the same time, after performing in many movies and dramas, Rika Takarada's acting skills have become more and more mature. Many film manufacturers, production companies, and brokerage companies have come to her specifically to sell her out of Nango Shinjo Club at a high price poach away. For these requests, Takarada Rika refused and cut off contact with them. Because in her opinion, the daily life with you and Akane Shinjo is the most rare and precious. She will still visit your home as often as before, watch tokyozatsu dramas with you, and talk about movies. Time does not stand still, just like the rivers and the sea, it never flows backwards. Nango Shinjo is producing excellent special photography content every year. Different from the beginning of the business a few years ago, the development of Nango Shinjo Club has become stable, and there are already people in various departments to help manage it. Except for the script and character drafts to consider, you and Akane Shinjo are finally completely free. At the same time, looking back, you also find that you are no longer young. After discussing with her, you took Akane Shinjo to your hometown to meet your parents. Your parents are particularly satisfied with Akane Shinjo, who is generous and elegant. You quickly agreed on a wedding date. This year, you are 29 years old. At the age of 29, she is still very charming, and she is more mature and stable than when she was in high school. You and her were walking by the river in your hometown. She listened to you talking about the past and smiled knowingly. She holds your hand tightly and murmurs to you, meeting you in this life may be the luckiest thing that has happened to her since she was born. You gently stroke the side of her face with your hand. You two at the age of 29, have each other in your eyes. Everything is developing in a good direction. Chapter 145. The story between you and her never ends, 4,000 words. The life that has been simulated will not stop, let alone change. Just like real life. Time continues to move backward. You announced your wedding date to the outside world. No one is surprised by this. In their view, because the name Nango Shinjo Tokyozatsu Club says it all. This year, you are 29 years old. It is the time when you have the most energy in your life, and it is also the time when each other is the most mature. Everyone has nothing but blessings for your marriage. Even on the internet, a support group appeared after the two of you announced your wedding date. With everyone witnessing, you and Akane Shinjo held a wedding. She was wearing white without dirt at the wedding, and she was so beautiful. You are wearing a navy blue uniform and look handsome. You didn't invite many insiders to your wedding, and you didn't hold any press conference. The outside world didn't learn about it until you were completely married. On this night, Takarada Rika, who never liked drinking, drank a lot. You and Nango Akane take her into the room to rest. Looking at her peacefully sleeping face, Nango Akane and you smiled at each other. She and Rika Takarada are best friends, and she also knows Rika Takarada's feelings for you. If it weren't for you, she would probably be willing to share everything with Rika Takarada. She could only stroke Rika Takarada's forehead and say sorry softly. Time, continue backwards. Nango Shinjo Club continued to produce excellent special photography works in the following days. The reputation of you and Nango Akane is also growing. When you look back and look at the previous scenery, you realize that at some point, the world has already called you the god of Takyozatsu during the Reiwa period.